Join the team.
Hey, this is the McGuire Review, and we're going to take a look at the Oregon Trail from Pressman Games. Now, this is a expansion, but it's also a standalone. I don't know if everybody remembers the original, highly sought after. This thing sold out at Target. It was only available at Target, and you couldn't find it for the longest time. People were kind of going crazy trying to track this down across the country. It was actually really surprising, I think how much people were looking for this game. And I think it's just because the limited quantities that existed, as well as it was only available at Target. And that was a partnership between them and Pressman Games. But this is based on the original computer game, the Oregon Trail, which a lot of us from the early 80s, mid 80s do remember playing this game. I do myself. And this game was extremely difficult, and it did translate into the card game that they made as well. This is a very difficult game. They did come out with Hunt for Food card game, which is an add-on to the original game. But this can also be played as a standalone game because it is a very different game in nature. A lot of the components do look somewhat similar, but it is a completely different game, and I'll explain how you can add it on to the original game, because I think they did a really nice, innovative way of doing that, and I find it actually a lot of fun. So here is the instructions that are included, which is right here. Again, same kind of deal, very short little instruction book. That's it. You got some rules back here, some finer details around the hunting and the shooting and all of that. On the front here, you'll basically find the setup of the game, as well as the various cards that are included in the game. And that's the whole rule book, just like the first one. Very simplistic. Within 10 minutes you read through this, you're ready to go, you're ready to play. This one does come with bullets. You'll see you have bullet tokens here. You do get a little stand-up guy in this version of the game, which I think is actually really cool. I love the pixel, very basic pixel art that they put on this little guy. I do like the way they've designed these components, just very simplistic and pixel-like. The die are the same way, and the dice look great in this version. A nice black die with red lettering there, and they do have that pixel form as well, which I thought were really nice. They've got great weight to them. I really have to say, the dice in this game are really nice in this version. I don't know what it is. They do feel a little different than the ones in the first version. I might be wrong on that, but the weight of them and the way they feel, very nice dice on this go around. I'll hit this here in a second because this is one really cool little extra component they threw in. You do have your hunting cards. You got quite a few of those. And in this game, you're going to be hunting. So, there's blank cards. There are various different calamities that you can run into and actually die, just like there are in the first one there. Different ones in these, though. You got some of the same. So broken leg, exhaustion, lost. And then you have obstacles in this game as well. So rocks and trees and brushes and flowers that will kind of act as obstacles as you are trying to hunt, and do affect line of sight, which is pretty cool as well. So again, this is a little bit different. You're not going to be building that track and going through a track. You're going to be sort of in a, you can almost think of a three-dimensional space, hunting for animals and trying to collect meat. So basically the premise is one of the party need to collect up to 600 pounds of meat. So the party collects 600 pounds of meat and someone actually survives, you win the game. And it actually, same as this, is very difficult to do, to collect that 600 pounds of meat. All right, so more hunting cards you can see here. Here's some trees. So we do have some of those trees and bushes. Here's an abandoned wagon, and that's how our supply cards are going to come into this version of the game. Whenever you find one of those abandoned wagons, you're going to be able to go to your supply cards and get some supplies, and they're much like you would see from the first version of the game here, where you got your medicine. Here you do have a crutch, which is pretty cool. Clean water, spare parts, and a compass. So various different things that you can use to help you as you're out there running into problems and hunting. Now, the last component they included were these little A-drive floppy disks, which I thought was a cool, nostalgic kind of way to add a little component in. And it's really neat. They actually kind of put different types of software on the front of these. So like this one says, Portal Internet free software, join the revolution online for Mac and PC version 3.15, free 30-day trial. So back in the day when, you know, internet were these little free trials that you'd have to put a disk in your computer to be able to load and connect to a single server. So I think this was so awesome. You know, various different, the computer tutor here, the original, the Oregon Trail disc and game. And again, another one here, the Oregon Trail game. And what these are is actually coasters. So, you know, with all of the dehydration that you can run into throughout the course of playing the game, they thought it would be a nice little add-on to add these coasters where each player gets a coaster and they have no effect on the game whatsoever. So I don't want to, you know, make anybody feel like this is going to be used for the game in any way as like a special component. It affects the game. Nothing is not for the game at all. It's specifically just a special little item to set a drink on and be a coaster. So, you know, well done, Pressman, on that. I think that's really cool when companies throw in extra little components like this that you can use for stuff like that, you know, may not have anything to even do with the game. So, really cool, really well done on that. Bear thought that was excellent addition. He did use these coasters for his drink. He does enjoy a nutty brown beer as well as those hoppy IPAs, don't you, buddy? Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Let's get into how we would set up and play this game, and I'll give you a very quick overview. You're going to separate your hunting from your supply cards. And supply, you know, you don't really need to shuffle those because you're going to be going right into them and getting various different types of supplies when you hit those wagons as you're hunting. It's kind of like an abandoned wagon, and it's like you're going through it trying to see if you can find some supplies. So we can set those right out. You will take all your hunting cards, put them together, and you'll shuffle those up. And then what you're going to do is you're going to form a grid or a little play area on the table. And I'm just going to shuffle these up really quick. I'm not going to do a really, really good job shuffling these. They are somewhat shuffled already, but you know, we'll put these together here, and then what we're going to do is we're going to form a 6x6x3 grid. So you're going to lay those cards out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? You're going to go 6 out in front of you, and you're going to go 6 down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're running out of room here. 6. And then what you're going to do is you're going to fill, you're going to fill in that grid with the rest of these cards. And then you're going to take your starting player, so whoever wants to take starting player and be the hunter. And the hunter is going to start on one of these outside edges, and then every player is going to get a die. Now, when you roll the die when it's your turn, that's going to tell you, and again, I roll the 1. Infamous on a D6, I got to hit that 1 every single time. So, well, not every single time, but most of the time. So let's see what we got here. Okay, a 2. A little bit better than my standard 1. That's going to actually tell you how many actions you're going to have during the course of that turn. So let's say that I rolled a 4. That's going to say, hey, you're going to be able to spread those actions across various different things. Whether you're moving, you're flipping cards, or you're shooting at animals, because that's where your bullets are going to come into play. You are going to have to actually truly hunt. It isn't just like you flip over a card and all of a sudden, you know, let's say I would flip over this one and say, oh, actually it's a bad example because you can't flip diagonally. You have to flip, you know, up, down, left, or right. So let's say I flipped this one here, and you don't ever flip the card that the hunter is standing on. Oh, okay, it's a rabbit. So roll a 3 or 4 to kill 59 rabbits. From the rabbits you shoot, you got 118 pounds of meat. Remember, you need 600 to win the game, but you were only able to carry 100 pounds back to the wagon. So when you go back to your wagon, you can only carry 100 pounds at a time. So let's say that I wanted to, you know, I had 4 actions. Well, that was action number 1 to flip that card. Action number 2 is going to be, I'm going to shoot at this rabbit here. So, and that will allow me to kill, so roll a 3 or 4 to kill 59 rabbits. I can roll this die here, and I rolled a 2, so I did not hit that rabbit. I wasn't able to make that kill for that rabbit. Now, as we move and traverse kind of through this, you'll find that here's some flowers. Let's see what else we got out here. Here's another rabbit. What do we got here? There's a bush. What do we got down here? some more flowers. What do we got? Nothing there. Man, there's rabbits all over the place. This is rabbit hunting season right here, boys. All right, bushes. Now, every once in a while, you may run into an obstacle. So let me give you an example here real quick. Let's find one of these obstacles. Okay, here we go. Here's a bear. And what's a good obstacle? Like some kind of like rock. Here we go, like a rock. So let's say that this bear actually ended up being right here, and these rocks were right here. What we would find is I could try to take a shot at this bear, but I really can't because I have this obstacle of these rocks in my way. So one thing I like about this game is that it does kind of control the how you sort of see things and have line of sight based on obstacles. And again, this is going to be 3 deep, so as you flip over cards within each one of those areas, it will start to kind of drill down an area. Then all of a sudden, you can't get across and you got to go and move different ways. And that's the point of having 3 cards in every stack. Now, that will get to the point where you could become trapped and not make it back to the wagon. It's just one more thing that keeps you from being able to deliver that meat back to the wagon. So again, I wanted to show a quick example of how those rocks will kind of block that line of sight to be able to take a shot at the bear. So you're going to have to move around and kind of traverse to where you have a nice line of sight to take a shot at that bear, which is worth 156 pounds of meat. If you take a shot at that bear, roll a 1 or 2 to kill the bear. Whoop, roll a 1 or 2. 3. This was my this was my gig for rolling the 1 or the 2, especially that 1. And I'm gonna roll a 3 or better every single time. That's just how it happens with me on D6s. Whatever I'm supposed to roll, I roll the opposite. All right, so that's how the Hunt for Food Oregon Trail card game actually works. As you can see, it is a little bit different than your base style of gaming. Now, this is where it gets cool. Again, completely a standalone game. You can play by yourself. You can play with others. But what I think is awesome about this is how they integrated it with the regular game. And this is how it works. So let's say you want to use this game with the base game. What you're going to do is you're going to play the base game. And at any point in time, as you're going along and you're building that trail and you're playing the regular game, the party can say, you know what, let's stop and let's go hunt. Because we're running super low on food and we can really bulk up on food. Because in the base game, you can get cans of food. So what you can do is you can kind of come away from the trail. You can go into this setup. You can hunt. It's not about now getting 600 pounds of meat and making that return with the meat to win. It's about getting about 200 pounds of meat. So if you get 200 pounds of meat, you can then stop hunting, go back to the Oregon Trail regular path card game, trade in that 200 pounds of meat for a large can of food. So that's what you can do to kind of integrate these games together. And I do find that very fun because it feels like you're playing sort of 2 different games and you're able to jump off the main path and go into another game, get another type of experience, and then jump back into the Oregon Trail. So, Pressman Games, really good job in integrating these 2 card games together and just bringing back that nostalgic feel that we all loved from those early 80s computer games that were so hard, and you really kind of put that right into these games as well and makes it very challenging. And that's what I think keeps the players coming back to the table time and time again, is just trying to beat the game because it is so hard. It is so hard. Oh, and by the way, Bear, nothing against you. I know I picked the bear here. Nothing against you, buddy. Don't take that the wrong way. All right, so that's Hunt for the Food. If you see it out in Target, pick it up. This is Target exclusive. So hit that like, click the subscribe below to join the team, ring the bell. This has been the McGuire Review, and we'll see you next time on The Hunt